Hello, Donna here. Today's video is something a little bit different. Have you ever just stared into nothing and wondered, what is shabby chic? What is grungy? I put a poll up on my channel last week asking what type of journal you like, and Ajita commented, please make a video on how to differentiate among these 4 types of journal. It is hard to recognise what is grungy or what is shabby chic. Are they different from vintage? And can a junk journal be contemporary themed? My reply was yes, sure. I'll do a video, and yes, most definitely you can do a contemporary themed junk journal. So let's get started. We'll do vintage first. So let me introduce you to Eva from Bohemian Crafting. I call her a craft engineer. She is a whiz. So this is typical for vintage. Eva uses a lot of labels, a lot of old photographs, grid paper. She uses colour, not a bright red, but a vintage red. Book pages are frequently used in a lot of themes, in particular in the vintage. You can always use rusty elements, labels, stencils. Look, this one here, it's vintage, but Eva has combined it with contemporary, so you don't have to stick to one theme. She's put clear plastic with vintage. You don't have to use the traditional bright red, green and white to do Christmas. Eva has successfully made a Christmas vintage theme. I love these colours, so you can break the rules. Our next crafty lady is Lorna from Tailor Made Journals. And Lorna is a whiz at sourcing original vintage documents. Lorna, she makes her journals using real covers and real pages. Original documents look absolutely beautiful in a vintage journal. These covers look to me like they're original. We've got a change of colour, and you'll see here Lorna's combined original with digital, still in the vintage theme. And she uses fabric as well. So you've got this beautiful old fabric. If you don't have access to original documents, just pop into a shop like Lorna's and grab yourself some digitals. Use stencils, use rubber stamps, use inks, use whatever you can to age new paper to look vintage. Mrs. Cog. Now for some more vintage, we'll look at some of Mrs. Cog's work. If you haven't seen Mrs. Cog's journals, you're in for a treat. Elizabeth has impeccable taste. You'll recognise her journals, I think, by the big luscious bows. That's the first thing you'll notice when you look at the outside cover of one of her journals. Like this one here with Audrey Hepburn journal. You don't have to go the neutrals, the browns and the old gentleman. You can put something as beautiful as this on your cover. It's still vintage. It still is in the vintage theme. There are so many vintage themes that you could use. You are not locked into a box when you say the word vintage. It is broad. Now for shabby chic. The examples I'm going to show you for shabby chic is from one location. I think you'll agree with me when you look through these photographs. She's got beautiful taste when it comes to shabby chic. If you cannot find a junk journal that's going to give you inspiration, follow someone on Instagram like Love Shabby Chic and get inspired by things like this embroidery. You don't have to only be looking at junk journals for inspiration. She does share junk journals from time to time, so I'm going to show you a few of them now. So these are not her work. If you jump onto her Instagram, you'll be able to see whether or not she gives credit to the journals that she shares. But the journals she does share are absolutely beautiful. And you definitely will get a lot of inspiration from this Instagram creator. Now for Grungy. Grungy is not everybody's cup of tea, but those who love it absolutely love it. So I'm happy to start off with Angie Garcia. Angie Garcia Art. Angie is a mixed media artist, and she combines that with junk journals. And what she comes up with is absolutely brilliant. She's a standout. So her covers are actually hand painted. They're not a printed piece of paper and then put onto the cover. This is all her own work. So this is definitely fitting for the grungy category. Now I'm going to show you Grungy Girl journals. I don't know Grungy Girl journals. I don't know if her name is Laura or if that's just a name that she has on her Instagram channel. Again, this is very typical of grungy. Lots of torn, rust, lots of dark colours, ropes and ribbons and dark laces and layers. Have it as grungy as you can get it. This is a typical grungy themed junk journal. Now we're changing the pace entirely. We're going full on colour, and we'll start with Laura Mixed Media. If you love colour and you're more of a modern type of person and you love doodling and drawing directly into an art journal, Contemporary's for you. You can make any size journal you like. You can have a bound journal. You can purchase a journal. You can have the ring type journals. Anything goes. You can paint directly onto paper and pages. You can have the cover, and then the inside of your journal have the vintage papers with a little bit of mixed media. You can mix it up. You can have half and half. There are no rules in junk journaling. You can make it the way you like. If you wake up today and you have an idea, use it. You can have a grungy cover with a vintage pages inside. You're not setting concrete. You can use craft paper instead of white paper. You can use black paper instead of white paper. You can use whatever you've got at hand. It doesn't have to be big. It can be as small as you like. If you love minis, make a small one. Jane Davenport. Jane is a professional. She's not just like you and me, right? She knows how to work with colour. I'll start off by showing you this one where she's painted directly onto a book page. You could do this. You don't have to be a professional like Jane. You could just grab any book you've got and start painting. You could paint your cover. You could draw or paint directly onto a receipt or a ledger page. This is Jane painting in one of her journals. Lucky Last, we're showing the work of thoughtful hands. Again, contemporary. A beautiful cover. If you like the bright colours and you love sewing, make a fabric. She's combined sewing, staining with inks, painting or drawing. I'm not sure how she's achieved the bird, but combine what you love to do on a piece of fabric and make that your cover. Just a little wraparound journal. So contemporary definitely is a thing. You can be as contemporary as you like. This is still the junk journal method using the Copic stitch, but it's made as a contemporary style journal. Using colour and using stitches adds so much interest. So just get creating. Black and white. Put your dangles on contemporary. You are not locked into the traditional junk journaling style. You can make a contemporary journal and adopt the junk journal vintage style and use that in your contemporary journal. Absolutely you can. So hey Ajita, I think this will clear things up for you about recognising what is grungy, what is shabby chic, what is vintage, and now you definitely know you can make a contemporary themed journal. So thank you again for asking this question, because I found this very interesting to put together for you. Thanks for watching, and ciao for now.